Hello students, today we are learning about how the heart pumps the blood. Before going to the process, let us revise the structure of the heart once again. Take a moment to look at the picture and revise the valves, the chambers and the blood vessels attached to each chamber. The blue color is the illustration of deoxygenated blood movement, and the red color is the illustration to show the oxygenated blood movement. Before learning the process, let us discuss one simple question, that why blood need to be pumped all the time. Blood supplies the basic need of our living cell, the oxygen. After consuming the oxygen through respiration, the cells produces carbon dioxide as a waste product that need to be removed. This function of supply of oxygen and removal of carbon dioxide is served by the blood, which should keep moving. Thus, blood need to be pumped all the time in our body. Previously, we learned that our circulatory system is composed of heart, arteries and veins, blood and blood capillaries. Let us learn how this pumping of blood is done by our heart. For making it easy to understand and learn, we will learn step by step, starting with one side of the heart. You already know that the separation of right side and the left side of the heart is useful to prevent oxygenated and deoxygenated blood to be mixed. So let's begin our first step with the right side of the heart. The process begins with superior and inferior vena cava, which brings the deoxygenated blood respectively from the upper and the lower side of our body. The vena cava opens into right atrium. Then the deoxygenated blood enters into the right ventricle after crossing the tricuspid valve. Then the right ventricle contracts and pushes this deoxygenated blood into pulmonary artery through the pulmonary valve. Pulmonary artery later splits into two and enters into each lungs. Here we are ended with the right side of the heart. So let us quickly revise. First step, vena cava brings deoxygenated blood to the right atrium of the heart. This deoxygenated blood moves to the right ventricle after crossing the tricuspid valve. The deoxygenated blood is pushed by the right ventricle into pulmonary artery after crossing the pulmonary valve. The pulmonary artery takes away the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Now, the lungs takes away the carbon dioxide mixed in the blood and adds oxygen to it in the alveoli. Thus, we will call this blood as oxygenated blood. Now, the blood will be moving again toward the heart to be pumped. Now, we will be moving to the left side of the heart. The pulmonary vein originating from the lungs brings the oxygenated blood to the left atrium of the heart. This oxygenated blood further moves to the left ventricle, crossing the mitral valve. or the bicuspid valve. Then this oxygenated blood is pushed by the left ventricle into aorta by crossing the aortic valve. And finally, the aorta takes away the oxygenated blood and supply it to the whole body using thin arteries. This way, the cycle repeats itself. The arteries will supply the oxygenated blood to the body. Then, the vena cava will bring the deoxygenated blood back to the heart and the cycle will repeat itself. Let us quickly revise. See the picture in front of you. The first step, deoxygenated blood in the right atrium brought by the vena cava. Then, crossing the tricuspid valve, the blood enters into the right ventricle. The deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle is pushed in the pulmonary artery from the pulmonary valve. The pulmonary artery will take this blood to the lungs for its oxygenation. Here, the blood will lose carbon dioxide and will gain oxygen. Thus, we will call this blood as oxygenated blood. This oxygenated blood will be brought by pulmonary veins from the lungs and will be brought into the left atrium. After crossing the bicuspid valve, this oxygenated blood will enter into the left ventricle. Then, the oxygenated blood is pushed in the aorta, crossing the aortic valve to be supplied to the whole body.